Temperatures are heating up this week, feeling more like summer than spring. I'll show you when highs reach 90s and how close we'll be to record highs.
Accused of revealing military secrets, an Army veteran charged with leaking classified information to a journalist is due in federal court today. What we're learning from inside the courtroom about this case. Another surge. Gas prices expected to jump again as President Trump announces a new blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Just how much experts say they could go up. Temperatures keep climbing this week. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Laura Levine. Thanks for joining us here this noon. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gartner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at when we could see the first 90-degree day of the year at RDU.
We got close to it a few weeks ago, and Fayetteville hit 90, but we still haven't done it at RDU. But it is highly likely by Wednesday, and then we may have a whole string of highs in the 90s. This is a live look at Chapel Hill. People out walking around in shorts and T-shirts. Our temperatures are nice and mild. Not too hot today. It'll feel very much like yesterday. And right now, it's almost just Goldilocks weather out there. 77 degrees, but it is breezy. We have a southwest wind at 19 miles per hour, and it's a bit gusty. And that southwesterly wind keeps pushing the warmth into our area. That flow continues all the way into the weekend, and so that's why temperatures will keep on climbing. This afternoon, expect highs in the mid-80s, that southwest wind at about 10 to 15, and again, a little on the gusty side. Take a look at where we're headed tomorrow. This is the actual forecast high here, 88, and then the record here at 91. Now, Wednesday, we could hit 90 for the first time, likely to be 91 Wednesday, and that would tie the record. That is 91 on Thursday, 90 on Friday, and we're really close to the record on Saturday. Even though the record's 95, we could hit 94 degrees. And of course, that's, probably going to be fairly uncomfortable. It's also very dry into the weekend. We've had a statewide burn ban in effect for multiple days, and it's in effect until further notice. That doesn't mean until this weekend or sometime next week. It's likely to be quite some time before we get enough rain here that burning will be allowed in North Carolina. We're going to talk more about why the heat may not feel as bad this week as it would if it was July, coming up.
Elizabeth, thank you. Pope Leo arrived in Algeria today on a first ever papal visit. The trip comes as the pontiff faces extraordinary criticism from President Trump over his criticism of the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran. NBC's Garrett Hake reports.
This morning, the fallout over the war in Iran now extending to an extraordinary clash between the president and the Pope. Pope Leo speaking out just hours ago.
I have no fear, neither the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel. And that's what I believe. I am confident.
After President Trump harshly criticized him last night.
I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime. He's a man that doesn't think that we should be toying with a country that wants a nuclear weapon.
Earlier on Sunday, the president in a long post online calling Leo, quote, terrible for foreign policy, saying, quote, I don't want a pope who criticizes the president of the United States because I'm doing exactly what I was elected to do. Claiming the church only elected Leo, quote, because he was an American, and they thought that would be the best way to deal with President Donald J. Trump. The president also posting this AI-generated religious imagery of himself. Tension has been rising between the White House and the Pope, who's become increasingly outspoken in recent months, particularly critical of the president's immigration policies and the war with Iran. Last week, calling for citizens to push for peace.
To contact the authorities, political leaders, congressmen, to ask them, tell them to work for peace and to reject war.
On 60 Minutes last night, before the president's posts, American cardinals saying Pope Leo inspired them to speak out on both immigration and the Iran war.
Under Catholic teaching, this is not a just war.
And now, after the president's comments, the Pope doubling down.
Too many innocent people are being killed, and I think someone has to stand up and say there's a better way to do this.
And just minutes before this newscast, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops issued a brief statement to the comments made by President Trump. It reads, I am disheartened that the president chose to write such disparaging words about the Holy Father. Pope Leo is not his rival, nor is the Pope a politician. He is the vicar of Christ who speaks from the truth of the gospel and for the care of souls.
Well, happening now in the WRAL Live Center, U.S. Navy ships are now blocking Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz. This is video right now of the Strait of Hormuz's integral waterway. President Trump warning if any of Iran's fast attack ships come anywhere near the blockade, U.S. Navy ships will sink those ships. So far, no reports of any incidents in the region. The blockade comes after the U.S. and Iran failed to reach a deal over the weekend to end the war. The U.S. Central Command says it will allow ships traveling to non-Iranian ports to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. About 20% of the world's oil and natural gas passes through that integral waterway. We'll continue to monitor this for any new developments here in the WRAL Live Center.
And with that in mind, Ken, the national average of gas prices right now holding steady over the last week, but is expected to spike after the announcement of the blockade. WRAL's Elizabeth Holmes is in Raleigh, where prices are already starting to tick back up.
We are already starting to see gas prices rise here in Raleigh. Here at the corner of Hillsborough and Gorman, $3.96. We actually saw gas go down by about 4 cents over the weekend during peace talks, but those peace talks failed. And now with the news of the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, we are not going to see any relief anytime soon. Now, here's what happened overnight. U.S. crude oil soared by about 8% to more than $104 a barrel. Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy says that gas prices are going to climb this week, followed by diesel prices.
And the longer it remains essentially closed, the longer the world is being choked off of 20 million barrels of oil that are needed every day. So that's why the Strait is such a significant piece and probably the largest thing that's being talked about today.
Around this time of year, we normally start to see gas prices rise because more people are traveling. Gas Buddy predicts if the Strait of Hormuz does not open anytime soon, we could see historic gas prices anywhere between $5 to $6 a gallon. In Raleigh, I'm Elizabeth Holmes, WRAL News.
New numbers from AAA today show the national average at around $4.13. In North Carolina, the average dropped a cent from yesterday to $3.89. And in Raleigh, the average cost of gas is around $3.91. To find the best gas prices near you, here's a reminder to check out the WRAL Fuel Tracker. Just go to WRAL.com and search fuel.
New at noon, the city of Oxford and other former employees want allegations of toxic mold thrown out. We first brought you this story in February. A former chief of police in Oxford is suing current and former city staff, claiming concerns of mold at the Oxford police headquarters went unaddressed for years. One of those defendants is Oxford's current city manager, Brent Taylor. Court records show they are now pushing back. In a motion to dismiss filed late last week, attorneys argue that these workers are protected by public official immunity. They are asking a judge to dismiss the original allegations. Right now, deputies in Franklin County have a man in custody after an early morning search. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker at US 401 near the Franklin-Wake County line. We saw about a dozen sheriff's vehicles as well as canine units searching in a wooded area. There was also a red car just off the road. We're working to learn who the man in custody is and why police were searching for him.
Well, despite a leaky helium valve and a busted toilet, the Artemis II crew made it home safely. Now, the really exciting science begins ahead of the next trip. NBC's Tom Costello shares the crew's exciting weekend back on Earth.
Mission complete for the 4 astronauts of NASA's Artemis II flight to the moon and back.
Houston Integrity, splashdown, sending post-landing command now.
Their Orion capsule splashing down off the coast of San Diego Friday evening after a 700,000-mile journey that included the first humans to set eyes on the full far side of the moon and a spectacular 53-minute solar eclipse. Commander Reed Weissman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialists Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen still wrapping their heads around the experience.
I have not processed what we just did, and I'm afraid to start even trying.
The crew members sharing photos reuniting with their loved ones after their 10-day flight that set a new record for distance traveled from Earth. More than 250,000 miles to the moon and even farther.
Before you launch, it feels like it's the greatest dream on Earth. And when you're out there, you just want to get back to your families and your friends.
All 4 returning with a new gratitude for the planet we all call home.
What struck me, it wasn't necessarily just Earth. It was all the blackness around it. Earth was just this lifeboat hanging undisturbingly in the universe.
The crew, who's also spent considerable time in close quarters.
This is the furthest I've been away from Reed in a long time.
And forever bonded.
What you saw was a group of people who loved contributing, having meaningful contribution, and extracting joy out of that.
For NASA, the successful flight now tees up another critical test set for next year, when a crew on another Orion capsule will practice docking with the commercial lunar lander, all ahead of a planned return to the lunar surface as early as 2028.
To the generation that now knows what we're capable of, welcome to our moonshot.
What a remarkable journey. That was Tom Costello reporting. So now Artemis 3 is tentatively set for 2027 and will test a lunar lander in orbit around Earth. Then Artemis 4 will launch sometime in 2028, getting astronauts back to the lunar surface for the first time since the 1970s.
In less than an hour, the sold-out Emerging Women in Sports Leadership Summit gets underway in Durham. More than 200 people are expected at the convention center for a day of networking, mentorship, and learning from industry professionals. Organizers say it is about helping women earn a seat at the table in a growing industry and creating more opportunities for women and girls in sports. Next at noon, crash at the doorstep. A driver slams into a home in Zebulon, causing a massive fire. What we know about the person now charged.
And from runway to rush hour, a plane makes a crash landing on a busy road in Arizona. How the pilot nearly missed buildings, cars, and people on the way down.
And transforming Dix Park. The city of Raleigh enters a new phase with the park. The demolition underway to make room for more green space.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
We now know the name of the person who police charged with the crash and house fire in Zebulon. Possession of a stolen vehicle. The crash caused a fire at the multi-story home on West Franklin Street. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey tells us, fortunately, everyone made it out alive.
A person is now in custody after a car crashed into this home and caught fire in Zebulon. This footage from Drone 5 shows the extent of all of that damage. You can see where the white car hit the front of the home, and the damage expands from the front of the house all the way up to the roof. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was one of the first on the scene after firefighters got the call around 3 o'clock this morning. When firefighters arrived, the car was in flames. Police say 5 people were home at the time, but they were able to safely evacuate. Right now, we're working to get an update on that person in custody, and we're also asking questions about what led up to this crash. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Zebulon.
Today, people in Wendell will get a chance to hear and share their thoughts on data centers. There aren't any current proposals in the town. However, the Board of Commissioners just says it wants to look at the study and how data centers could impact local infrastructure and possibly to update development rules. Tonight's public hearing will happen during the commissioner's regular board meeting that starts at 7 p.m. And we have done a lot of reporting on data centers in recent weeks. You can learn more about how data centers could reshape the energy grid, the concerns about higher costs, and the potential impacts on the environment. It's all on the WRAL YouTube page.
Crews recovered the bodies of the 2 workers who were missing after last week's parking deck collapse in Philadelphia. They were found early this morning after crews spent the weekend tearing down the unstable structure. 1 worker was killed when part of the deck collapsed Wednesday. 2 others were hurt. The mayor has now ordered an independent investigation. 3 people are recovering from minor injuries after a small plane made a crash landing on a busy street in Phoenix. It happened yesterday afternoon. The trio was out for a joyride when one of the men heard weird sounds, then saw smoke. That's when the pilot turned off the engine and started looking for a safe place to land. Witnesses say one of the wings hit a street sign and stopped just short of a utility pole, avoiding all buildings, cars, and people on the way down.
There's no time to be scared. You just brace yourself and that's it. And then you thank God after you land and you're alive.
The NTSB is investigating the crash.
It's been one of the warmest springs on record, and we're about to climb the ranks. Meteorologist Chris Michaels shows us what makes this early season heat wave so rare in today's Ask the Meteorologist.
So prior to doing a little bit of research, I thought that 90s in the month of April were actually sort of common, but it turns out that is not the case. Since 1887, we've only had 75 days in the month of April that have hit 90 degrees. That means 1.8% of days sampled. Then you take it a step further. Right now, we're forecasting 4 straight days of 90-degree heat between Wednesday and Saturday. Last time we had 4 straight 90-degree days was back in 1960. By the way, the Super Bowl wasn't even a thing in the year 1960. So I went back in time and looked at the archived weather map, and I'm pointing out 2 features here for a very specific reason. Over the east, you had high pressure. Meanwhile, in the Rockies, you had a storm system getting going. Let's fast forward to the current day, and the pattern is almost identical. You've got high pressure. The sinking air beneath it tends to warm things up over the eastern U.S. And there's your storm system in the Rockies, helping to bring in more warmth out of the southwest. So a likely or a pretty much identical pattern that could wind up resulting in identical results of high heat over the course of the week.
And right now I'm here with Elizabeth, and that data is pretty interesting to consider when we're looking at multiple days this week in the 90s.
Yeah, that's right. So a string of them, 4 days in a row potentially. So definitely not something that we usually see in, this time of year. Definitely, June, July, and, it'll be June and July before we know it. A lot of people are out enjoying all this beautiful weather. We'll see highs just in the mid-80s today, feeling great out there. Our humidity remains low. And this, of course, is Dix Park. This is the Gibson Play Plaza. We do have some milky sunshine out there, some high thin cloud cover, and it's breezy too. As we talked about earlier, southwest wind at about 20 miles per hour, 77 is our current temperature, but it's gusty out there. Winds are gusting to 31 in Durham and Raleigh, to 25 in South Hill, 18 in Southern Pines, 23 in Rocky Mount. So the gusts are there in the white box on the right, and it is it's pretty blustery out there. Our temperatures right now just feel great, mostly mid to upper 70s, 75 in Knightdale, 76 in Apex, 77 in Chapel Hill, so feeling really good out there. And we'll climb on up into the mid-80s, which is about where we were yesterday. So today, this afternoon, will feel like Sunday afternoon did. Our normal high is 72. So even today, temperatures are more than 10 degrees above normal. And then we have that string of 90s, 91 on Wednesday and Thursday, 90 on Friday, Saturday, we could be 94 degrees. So that is definitely unusual. The earliest 90-degree day of the year that we've seen is March 12th. The normal is May 13th. And so we're still ahead of schedule in terms of seeing, the normal first 90-degree day. The latest was June 27th, 1983. I can't even imagine. So currently, again, we have that 4-day stretch. And as Chris said, the last time we saw 4 days in a row was back in 1960. So because it's been so dry and now it's been warm too, we have a statewide burn ban until further notice. That means the rest of this week, next weekend, next week, until we finally see some rain. And we have no rain in our 5-day forecast, nothing through Friday or Saturday. Now, Sunday, there's a very small chance. It's only a 30% chance, and we're not likely to see much rain at all. As Chris was showing us that pattern with the high pressure system in place here, we do have multiple fronts up to our north and west, and they keep trying to make a run at North Carolina, but they run smack into that high and just fizzle out. And that's the pattern that we've seen for quite some time. The high pressure system here rotating clockwise also pulling that warmth up. So it's very warm, it's very dry, and until this particular pattern breaks down, we're out of luck in terms of rain. Now, what we're not seeing, which we usually see during the summer, is humidity. It would be up around steamy or tropical, but we're going to keep it in comfy even when our highs climb into the 90s. But no break in sight all the way through the next 10 days. It's likely that our temperatures will be above normal. And again, we've got that 4 days in a row, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, before we see a break from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, before we see a break from the 90s. Now, we do see a front that comes through on Sunday. It does cool our temperatures off, but I'll show you why it probably won't bring us a whole lot of rain coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. Dry days ahead. Coming up this afternoon at 4, the drought, as you heard Elizabeth talk about, it's getting worse, and the Triangle's starting to feel it. What this next stretch of dry weather could mean for fire danger, and what it will take to turn things around.
Plus, Political shift. Democrats are eyeing new opportunities in North Carolina as frustration grows over the economy and Washington. New at 5, why both parties are watching one congressional district especially close. And refresh your tech coming next at noon. Spring cleaning should also include your electronic devices. 5 on your side shares how you can make your gadgets clean.
Reshaping Dix Park. City leaders take another step forward in the transformation of one of Raleigh's most popular parks.
Is your phone, TV, or computer acting a little glitchy these days? Well, before you rush to replace any of your gadgets, 5 on your side's Ashley Rowe shows us how you might be able to fix it yourself with a little tech spring cleaning.
Start with the device you likely use the most often, your phone. Just be sure to use the right tools.
Things to avoid: condensed air, sharp tools like paper clips or tweezers, things that are safe to use, softer tools like cotton swabs or makeup brushes. Those should still do a good job without potentially damaging the delicate parts of your device.
That includes the screen. Whether it's your laptop, monitor, or TV, it's important to keep it clean. But there are a few things to remember.
Do not use a paper towel. Those are harsh and they could scratch or otherwise damage the screen. 2, don't use harsh cleaners like Windex or anything. They could also damage the screen, particularly the coating that a lot of laptops have nowadays.
Instead, a simple microfiber cloth is best. For dirtier screens, you can use wipes made for cleaning glasses. And when using your laptop or PC, try to avoid something many of us are guilty of: eating.
Depending upon the laptop, if you get crumbs underneath the keys, it could make it, literally impossible to type. Your only shot, really, short of like disassembling the device, is a can of compressed air to kind of like blow in there and get any of the crumbs out of there.
Before you start cleaning any device, power it down and unplug it. And check the owner's manual for any specific cleaning instructions. Ashley Rowe, 5 on your side.
Gamers could have a future with the U.S. government. This is one of those stories that we're following. The FAA revealed a new campaign aimed at those who have, quote, many of the hard skills that it takes to be a successful controller. The agency found through several exit interviews with controllers that many use gaming as a tool to help them think quickly, stay focused, and manage complexity. The FAA will start accepting applications this Friday at midnight for its annual air traffic control hiring window. New car prices are up nearly 13% from a year ago, putting the average price at nearly $50,000. And that is up 30% over the last 6 years. The number of people moving to 7-year loans for the sake of affordability has also increased. One car review site says Americans are paying about $775 a month based on a 10% down payment. Those customers anticipate paying off their vehicle in about 6 years.
Military secrets. A veteran charged with sharing classified information with a journalist appeared in federal court. We were inside for the hearing and shared what happened.
Diagnosing with Dr. AI coming up at 12:30. How to use AI with your doctor to make the most out of your appointment. Now, here's a look at the winning North Carolina Education Lottery numbers.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
And that breaking news we're following here right now. The Fort Bragg Army veteran charged with leaking classified information will be let out of jail. Within an hour, a court hearing wrapped up for Courtney Williams.
And the judge ordered her to remain on house detention. WRAL's Carly Haynes is live outside the federal courtroom. Carly, what else came out of the detention hearing this morning?
Well, this was a federal court appearance, so there weren't phones or cameras allowed inside. That's standard procedure. But we were inside the courtroom and watched as Courtney Williams walked in wearing that jumpsuit, those handcuffs and chains, just feet away from her family members who were sitting in the gallery. Now, as part of her release conditions, a judge ordered no contact with members of the media, also no social media at all. In fact, she had to disclose all of her social media usernames to her probation officer. She's formally charged with sharing classified information about a Fort Bragg Special Command unit with a journalist. According to the indictment, she exchanged hundreds of texts and had more than 10 hours of phone calls with the journalist. And that journalist ultimately published a book and article citing Williams as the source. Her indictment says she specifically revealed true names of those in the special military unit, as well as the tactics, techniques, and procedures used by that special military unit. Today, Williams' defense attorney, as well as her family members, did not provide a comment. WRAL was the first to bring you this story last week. You can see all of our previous reporting on WRAL.com. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, we're following some breaking news out of Sampson County. This is a story that we've been following since we came on the air this morning around 4:30. We just got word that the Sampson County deputies arresting a man accused of setting a woman on fire. There you see him on your screen. That's Frankie Faircloth. Deputies got a tip that he was seen somewhere in a wooded area behind a home. A quick search of that area, and deputies were able to locate Faircloth and took him into custody without incident. He faces a list of charges, including first-degree arson and first-degree attempted murder. This happened at a home on Pine Street in Roseboro Saturday night. The woman, Courtney Witcher, suffered burns over 2/3 of her body. She remains in the hospital this noon hour.
Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh was shut down for about 90 minutes this morning after a crash. It happened around 1 o'clock near Oak Forest Drive. Raleigh police say a pickup truck rear-ended a semi-truck and flipped onto its side. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was there.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, a district court judge today threw out President Trump's defamation lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal. The lawsuit was about the journal's reporting of this birthday letter in the shape of a woman's body to Jeffrey Epstein bearing what appears to be the president's signature. The judge ruled the president and his attorneys failed to plausibly allege the newspaper acted with, quote, actual malice in reporting the story. The judge dismissed the lawsuit without prejudice, which means President Trump can refile it. His legal team plans to file an amended complaint by the April 27th deadline.
Ken, thank you. A new survey finds half of Americans use artificial intelligence to make important health decisions without consulting their doctor.
And experts at one medical center are now helping patients achieve the right balance between human and computer to get the most out of their next appointment. Jesse Turner reports from the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center.
Couple deep breaths back here for me.
In his 30s, Seth Miller admittedly did not know much about his health. Then he needed shoulder surgery.
I had a torn labrum that was pretty bad. It's been torn for like 10 years.
To keep up with the doctor appointments, physical therapy exercises, and lab results that followed, Miller leaned on what he did know: artificial intelligence.
Using AI to connect a bunch of different data sources.
As an app developer, the 33-year-old used AI to create his own system to track his health data and develop a daily agenda based on recommendations from his care team.
Use it as like an understanding tool instead of like a total problem solver.
That's how patients should incorporate AI into the exam room, according to Dr. Ravi Tripathi, the Chief Health Informatics Officer at The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center.
To use artificial intelligence as another tool is going to make us stronger.
But a new Ohio State survey shows half of Americans use AI to make important health decisions without consulting their doctor.
The artificial intelligence doesn't understand your story.
The same survey finds fewer Americans are comfortable using AI in their health care today than they were in a similar 2024 survey.
It's showing that they are not following it blindly.
Dr. Tripathi recommends patients ask AI detailed questions using their health data and present the results to their doctor for the diagnosis.
You need to understand the entire story before you can provide a true medical recommendation.
Empowering patients like Miller to know their bodies better, which can lead to better personalized care.
And that was Jesse Turner reporting. Now, how can AI be developed and applied in ways that truly serve the public good? That question is at the center of the inaugural AI for the Public Good Conference. The conference kicked off this morning at UNC Chapel Hill. You can look for live reports today beginning at 4.
History revisited. As America gets closer to 250 years, one state is taking a hard look at the stories that shaped it. Why a new exhibit is sparking fresh conversations about truth and history. Plus, still soaking. The rain just won't quit in Hawaii. The new round of flooding concerns and why the danger isn't over yet. Despite recent funding for the medical examiner's office, prosecutors say the backlog of autopsies is slowing down justice. It's the focus of a WRAL investigation airing tonight. A Garner widow is waiting on an autopsy report to file for benefits with Veteran Affairs.
Right there.
Her husband was killed by Johnston County Sheriff's deputies following a mental health crisis in January. She is one of many families who are being told the medical examiner's office is weeks and sometimes months behind in processing autopsy reports.
They cannot give me any date or time that it will be cleared so they can get it. Only thing they tell me is that they backlogged.
Coming up tonight at 6, WRAL Investigates dives into the problem that still exists despite millions in recent funding to the medical examiner's office. And we speak to prosecutors who say the backlog is delaying justice as well. That's tonight at 6, right here on WRAL.
Museums in Mississippi are confronting the state's head of America's 250th birthday. The adjoining Museum of Mississippi History, called Two Museums, has created a temporary exhibit specifically for the celebration. The display, titled Mississippi Made, touches on the state's past with Native Americans, enslaved people, and the Civil Rights era.
There's been a real effort to make sure that our school children understand, okay, this is what really happened during Reconstruction. In 1861, this is the real reason why Mississippi seceded from the Union.
Our whole endeavor as a country is to make a more perfect union, right? And so to learn from the mistakes, to learn from our past helps us create a better society for all people.
This new exhibit follows President Trump's executive order in March 2025 called Restoring Truth and Sanity to American History.
People in Hawaii are dealing with another wave of rain after dangerous flash flooding. 1 to 2 inches of rain per hour fell across parts of Oahu, and most of the island remains under a flash flood warning. Some roads are closed, not just for flooding concerns, but rock slides. A flood watch is in effect for all the islands in Hawaii through 6 o'clock tonight. Serious situation there. Meanwhile, for us, our situation is that we are going to get really warm over the next few days. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking our temperatures. Today, though, will feel rather nice.
With the breeze, especially. Now, the wind is coming out of the southwest, so this is a nice warm breeze. And this tree that's here kind of in the foreground, as we take a look from our Jimmy V camera down Fayetteville Street, that tree's moving around. A few minutes ago, we talked about the fact that we're seeing some gusts in the triangle up to 30, 31 miles per hour. Plenty of people walking up and down Fayetteville Street. I thought we might find a few people sitting at the tables enjoying outside, but maybe it's just a little bit too breezy to sit outside for lunch. Our wind is steady out of the southwest at 19, again, gusting at around 30. 77 is our temperature. We do have some high thin cloud cover out there. The reason we're seeing all this warmth and that we'll continue to see it is because of this high pressure system. It's just going to sit here. It rotates clockwise, grabs up that warmth and pushes it right into North Carolina. So it also brings us a lack of rain. It keeps the precipitation to our west, and high pressure systems have sinking air. That sinking air compresses, warms, and dries out. And so we are looking at the potential for near record highs Tuesday through Saturday. This is a look at our next weather maker. We have high pressure sitting here in control of our weather, but notice we have some showers that are pushing toward the mountains, even on up into Virginia, along the Ohio Valley, back toward the Mississippi Valley. Well, what's going to happen as that hits the mountains is it's going to be too weak because of the high pressure system, and we won't see any of that rain. And we're going to see multiple fronts making a run at North Carolina and just fizzling out. Watch this one late Thursday into Friday. It just fizzles out, and another one finally pushes through Sunday. The actual front should move through, The amount of rain that we see with it when it makes it finally will be minimal. Look at this, back to our north and west, anywhere from 1 inch to 2 to 3 inches, as this high pressure system will just hold all of those fronts back to the west. They'll stall there. Folks, there will get plenty of rain. While we sit under the ridge of high pressure, we get 0 rain. Now, the flip side of that is it makes for a great evening or morning for baseball. The Durham Bulls, they start a homestand tomorrow. It's an 11 o'clock game. Temperatures will be in the 70s, feeling great. It may be a little bit warm on Saturday. It could be as high as 90 degrees when the game starts at 6:45, but other days should look nice. Sunday, again, we do have that potential for an isolated thunderstorm. It doesn't look like we're going to see very much rain out of that. As a matter of fact, the next 8 to 14 days will either see normal to below normal chances for rain. We do, of course, have the burn ban. It's statewide until further notice. We'll check those temperatures again. Going forward, today's 84, 88 Tuesday, and then we're just going to hold it in the 90s until Saturday. We have that front come through on Sunday. It's only a 30% chance of rain right now. It doesn't really look like anything would measure in the rain gauges, but it does drop our temperatures back to 86. But our normal high for this time of year is the low 70s.
Wow. Okay, Elizabeth, thank you. 94 on Saturday. Wet and wild. The new year gets off to a splash in one county.
Why locals and tourists alike don't mind taking part in this celebration.
As we wrap things up here, let's take a look at a few of the headlines that we're following today. A court hearing just wrapped up for a former Fort Bragg veteran accused of leaking military secrets. New details from the FBI show Courtney Williams exchanged more than 180 messages and spent more than 10 hours on the phone with a journalist who later published a book with the details. Williams was indicted last week. The judge ruled Williams can be released from jail with house detention and electronic monitoring. She's also barred from contacting the media or using social media while out on release.
A stolen car crashed into a Wake County home early this morning. Zebulon police say officers spotted 19-year-old Cartier farmer speeding before he slammed into a house on West Franklin Street just after 3 in the morning. The crash sparked a fire. The 5 people and 2 cats inside the house did make it out safely. Police say more charges may follow for Farmer as the investigation continues. We are keeping an eye on gas prices today. New numbers from AAA show the national average at around $4.13 a gallon. In North Carolina, the average dropped a cent from yesterday to $3.89. In Raleigh, the average cost for a gallon of gas is at $3.91.
McDonald's is adding energy drinks and crafted sodas to its menu. The sodas include a dirty Dr. Pepper and a mango pineapple refresher. The energy drinks, which include a Red Bull Dragonberry Energizer and Red Bull Peach Boost Energizer, will go on sale in August. The move follows testing of Cosmix-inspired drinks.
People in Thailand are welcoming the Thai New Year with family reunions, street parties, and did we mention a gigantic water fight? Check this out. The annual water festival comes during the hottest time of the year in Bangkok. Thousands of people walk down a famous road while crowds spray them with water guns or spill buckets of water on them. Don't worry, revelers are more gentle to the elders during the ceremonies. They simply sprinkle water on their hands. The water fight is rooted in Buddhist tradition, symbolizing purification, reverence, and good fortune.
Looks like a fun time. Coming up on WRAL News at 4 now, dry days ahead. The drought is getting worse and the Triangle is starting to feel it. What this week's summer-like temps could mean for fire danger and how long it may take to turn things around.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And remember, you can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. We hope you have a great Monday.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.